Hi everyone, I'm Denis DaSilva.
I'm Russell Matos.
And we're going to talk about the 5 weirdest things that's ever happened to us in our 20 plus years in real estate.
So some of the things that happened to me in my career, I've done open houses, I've had people bake cookies, I've had people put out different types of scents and candles. But this one time I had a lady cook a full-on dinner that it definitely was filled the house pretty well with a good flavor, if you want to say. But nevertheless,
What did it smell like, Russ?
it was like, I don't know, it was like a barbecue mixed in with something else.
Oh, okay, there's something else.
Yes, it was good. It was good. I appreciated the effort, but it was a little over the top.
Did you have
like,
complaints?
What is that smell? And I said, oh, it's a stew. They're having dinner later. It was very unique. Kind of had to open the windows. I didn't want to disrespect anybody.
Right.
During open house, it was definitely the topic of the day.
The first memory I have of a bad experience, and of course these don't all have to be bad, but was I was listing a property, going on a listing appointment, and I met a very tall gentleman who proceeded to give me a tour of the house and then take me into the basement. And he practiced Santeria. In the basement there was, red paint all over the walls to symbolize blood. There was animals for sacrifice. I didn't think I was leaving that basement that day. So I started to institute going with more than one person on some of these listing appointments because of how unpredictable they can be.
Make sure you tell people where you're going, just in case you don't come up.
That was pretty scary.
Clients, they get really excited during the transaction period. I had a client show up to the home inspection with 2 brand new vehicles. And as you know, when you go to the finance, they double check right before the closing. And if you've pulled your credit and all that stuff,
taking on more liability,
it could affect the deal. So I had to tell her to take the cars back.
Did they take it back?
They transitioned the title under the mother's name to get the transaction through. But some people, they get excited when they find out their credit scores and they get a proof of this and that, and they decide to go shopping.
Son, are you stupid or what? Did you hear what I said? Don't buy anything, don't get anything, nothing big. Did you hear what I said? What's the matter with you?
One of my worst nightmares.
Worst nightmares?
Oh my God. First of all, I don't like cats. Sorry. They just freak me out. And then we go into this multifamily as well. And I don't know how many, there was dozens and dozens of cats everywhere. So this person was a hoarder and a cat collector, and there was dead cats in the refrigerators. It was feces and urine and all the stuff everywhere on a property that we were closing on. And the thing was, it was subject to viewing all the apartments, and the apartments were pretty pristine. Interesting thing though, you could not smell the stench outside the door for some reason. So
good installation.
It was just the way it was. I guess I could have pointed that out as a selling point. But when we finally got access to the property, as it often works out on multifamilies, it was insane. It was just cat feces everywhere, and
that's when the Board of Health has to come in.
Well, I'll tell you though, the client still purchased the property. We negotiated a hell of a deal for him, but he still purchased the property.
Hey, he's buying the real estate. Everything can be cleaned up, right? I got another story actually. It's not necessarily my deal. It was a story of a client, a colleague. I'm sorry, that I worked with. He bought a house. It was owned for many, many years. This gentleman was like 90-something years old, finally passed away, but he was a hoarder as well. He had newspapers stacked to the ceiling. He had multiple things in the house. He wouldn't leave the house. So he grew up during the Great Depression and all those things. So
it's a serious illness.
Yeah. So they allocated this company, like an attorney, to go out there and try to get all the valuables and things. So as they're going through the house, they found money stashed in all the newspapers, coins, valuables.
Oh, no.
He didn't believe in banks. You know, like I said, he was part of the Great Depression and all that. So they had to have around the clock police officers at this property. They found over $400,000 in this house.
Wow. Where was this? What town?
This is in the Fall River.
Wow.
This is an old man. People know who he was. He used to sell hubcaps. The guy was a multimillionaire, and they tried to find his next of kin. It was some third generation in California, and he wanted nothing to do with it. So it just, I don't know.
Went to the state or something?
Yeah, it was. That was an amazing story. I was like, why can't I buy a house like that?
Right, exactly. Join us next week for another episode of the Real Life Podcast.
And thanks for watching.